In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. May the peace, mercy, and the blessings of Allah be upon you all. Dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen all over the world. This is one of my thoughts on life. I pray that you enjoy listening to it. The title of this thought is The Newcomer. I sat alone and thought deeply about the universe, the human being, and life. I asked myself a strange question. What would a fetus say if I were to phone him and ask him about circumstances there in his mother's womb? How's he living? I called him up and asked him to tell me something about his life. His answer was, although my world is tiny, I'm very happy here. An umbilical cord feeds me, a strange amniotic fluid protects me against any outside effects. My world is ideal, no lying, no cheating, and no hypocrisy. I asked him if he had anything to add. He answered for the time being he could not form his impression of the other side of the story. His last exact words, goodbye till we meet in your world. I waited until the plane landed after that nice short journey. The delivery had already taken place and the child was still crying and people around were cheerfully laughing. Then I asked the newborn baby, as a newcomer to our world, what would you say now? His answer was, although your world is huge, I see it gloomy and dark. This life is weary, a tear, a sigh, and then we say goodbye and die. Your world is full of lying, cheating, and hypocrisy. I wished I stayed in my mother's womb for good forever. I told him there is a way if you follow. You can change the terms of your life. Your tears can become candles. Your sighs can become smiles, and even your death can become life in itself. You've come to this world while crying when people around you were laughing. Following that way, you die smiling when people around you are crying. He immediately asked me, what is this way? How can I die smiling? Please tell me. I told him, the only way to achieve this is to believe in Allah, glory be to Him, the gracious, the merciful, the all-forgiving, the wise, the loving. He has all beautiful names. In other words, to follow the straight way, to believe in Allah, the one and only, the absolute, the eternal. Allah begets not, nor is He begotten, and there is nothing co-equal to Allah. To be decent, to be rational and pure. You will achieve this by avoiding committing forbidden deeds. If you do so, you will win paradise and gain immortality. And in paradise, you will have life without death, youthfulness without old age, happiness without misery, and health without sickness. And this is the real success. The real success is in submitting to Allah. And this is the meaning of Islam. Islam means surrender or submission. Salam, which means peace, is the root word of Islam. It's taken from Silm, which means peace and surrender. In a religious context, the word Islam means the surrendering of one's will without compulsion, because there is no compulsion in religion, to the true will of Allah in an effort to achieve peace. Because if you submit to Allah, you will have peace here, 6 feet under, and in the hereafter. When we say Islam means submission and peace, all people submit bodily wise, whether they like it or not. All people digest food the same way. They inhale and exhale the same way. But the most important thing is to submit in your mind, heart, and soul. So you will have total submission, which leads to total peace, again, here, 6 feet under, and in the hereafter. Muslim means anyone or anything that surrenders itself to the true will of Allah. By this definition, everything in nature, trees, animals, planets, etc., are Muslims, because everything in the universe submits to Allah, because they are in a state of surrender to Allah's will. In other words, they are fulfilling the purpose for which Allah created them. Man has the free will to choose. So if you choose to obey Allah, to submit, to admit, to accept, and surrender to Allah, you will be successful forever. Islam is not a new religion or a new cult. It is a universal way of life and civilization. Studies show that about 1.8 billion people in the world identify their religion as Islam. Along with Judaism and Christianity, it traces into roots through Prophet Abraham and back to the first human, Adam and Eve. So all messengers are Muslims because all of them submitted to Allah and all of them spread peace. And all of them taught monotheism, worship Allah alone. Worship Allah, the one and only, the absolute, the eternal. Allah begets not, nor is he begotten, and there is nothing co-equal to Allah. I pray that all people all around the world open their hearts to accept this light, the light of Allah, the final message, the culmination of the revelation, to gain and achieve this immortal success.